Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of City Skylines, and in this episode we're going to cause some trouble because this thing has got to go. The dam that doesn't work. See you later, bam, off you go. Now I've already saved the game and done a little test here. It's quite interesting because this happens. Look at that, the water, just like in real life, the water starts rumbling upwards into the sky. Yeah, basically it creates a wave going in either direction, which I thought was interesting. This one's going to cause a little bit of flooding problem. Let's turn up the speed as well. Over here, where we don't have anything. And then this one, as far as I could tell, goes round this way, relatively safe. Further down the line, it might start to cause some flooding, so hopefully that doesn't have too much of an impact on the city. But there you go, it's off. And we're going to talk about various few things while it's rolling down the river there. So, first thing, the ghetto is fully expanded. And, you know, we'll probably expand it more over time. However, I really want to focus on a different area, this area over here. So, what's going to happen is, well, what's already happened is I built this intersection right here. It looks really cool. Very interesting how it works. It's sort of like a mini roundabout at the end here of one-way roads. And I can't help but feel this is going to be a nightmare for traffic. So, we may end up redesigning it. But it's this bit here that looks the worst, you know. There's just lots of different directions and traffic lights for the cars to cross over, and I reckon that's going to cause a load of traffic issues, but we can always change it. So anyway, that leads into two of our areas. What we'll probably do is have let's say a connection down here and a connection down here going into this area, so there's going to be 3 sets of junctions. And then for this side over here, we're going to have the one junction. It's not going to be connected up here to this area, although we may make a one-way road or do something if it happens to be convenient. And it's also going to come down this side, and maybe we'll have a little bit of a connection around here. Now, I want to redevelop this bit and possibly make it into a services area for our new sort of expansion. Anyway, let's see how the wave is doing. Where is it? It's flooding this side over here. It should now be getting to the part where, yeah, look at that. It is flooding our roads. Let's have a little zoom in. Let's change the time as well. Man, it goes by quickly. That's because we're playing in the fast mode. So, although it's going very close here, we're yet to see anything disastrous happening, and it looks like we might just get away with this one. Yeah, we might just get away with it. Yeah, it looks good. Anyway, I'll keep my eye on that. So let's talk about this layout over here. I'm not going to build this, by the way. I had this idea of building a 4-quadrant of these little roundabouts, which we used in the previous episode. They look ever so cool. I really do like them. But unfortunately here they're just going to end up being too close together for what I wanted to do. Now the way that I've put these in is by measuring out the roads and making it so that rather than it snapping to the road, there's like this one spot, there it is, where you can sort of plop it down in between all of them. And what I want to do is do that here in the middle now, because I've got a different design in mind. So this is going to be a little bit tricky actually. Or actually no, maybe it won't. No, I can destroy all of these roads. Then we're going to come out by, is it half and then 2? Yeah, half and 2 sounds... Actually, do you know what? I think I've got this completely wrong. That's not it. I reckon it's half and 2. Oh, damn it. I've just confused myself. Nope, I was doing it correctly. Just because it wasn't in the middle of the grid, it sort of looked different. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have one of those right there. The rest of these are going to go. There is actually a lot of little paths connected to that. I think there's even footpaths as well, and they've sort of been brushed over the top of one another. Interesting. This is probably a very hacky little design right here, isn't it? Look at that. Loads of footpaths or whatever underneath it as well. Looks like it's going to take me a moment to clear up. I'll do that another time. So instead, what we're going to do is have some underground roads. And again, I'm not sure if I've really got the room to make this work. So let's give it a quick try together. That's now in the very centre. We want to go with the same road type it's using, which is this one with trees. And we immediately want to go underground. Oh, okay, I didn't really change it. I just wiggled my mouse over and it let that one go. Now, from the same spot over here, I think it's that bit, we will do the same thing. So that's... Can we get that one? No, it's going to be that one. And like so. That was a lot more than I was expecting. I might actually change that a little bit. In fact, I might change it to be like this. So let's draw a road between these two. Ah, now that... Oh, no, okay, we're good there. Excellent. So let's say we got this road. We're going to have to get rid of the one underground. that one right there. So let's say, go back up, let's say this one is coming across and we want it to be identical to the one on this side. 2, 3. It sort of looks like it stops there and then goes underground. So let's try... No, that's not going to be enough. Well, you can get an idea of what I'm going for here. Let's not try and get it 100% straight away because we're recording. Bam, something like that, except they're going to be equal on either side. Right, equal distance. Okay, now quick update on the wave. The wave is causing issues. There is death throughout the city from all the flooding. Oh dear. Let's slow down the game then, because I'm going to have to build some emergency crematoriums. I did just delete a few to balance out the budget, by the way, and even though I only deleted a couple, I think you just need way more than it says you need. Like over here, this green bit, I think you just need it to always be at the maximum. I talk so much in this game, I'm not sure if I either explained what the original plan for this area was. It was to have these roundabouts in 4 quadrants, and have it so that it was a residential one, then offices, and then commercial all the way around the outside. Now that is not a plan that I've thought through in terms of you know, how it's going to work with traffic in the city and stuff like that. This is just want to try something out of interest, and now we're going to change that. And again, the layout is just out of interest. You know, every time I try and get my head around how this game works, it just seems to be a problem. So anyway, what we're going to do is just following this grid here. I've sort of built it up a little bit. We're going to have these crossroads like this, and then the main roundabout in the middle is going to connect through underground roads to the ring road around the outside, and these will also connect to the ring roads. And I'm going to chuck in a few extra roads to sort of maximize our use of space. But then this area, in terms of it being a district, which we might as well go ahead and paint right now, is going to be a high-tech one. It's going to be one with high-tech housing. We're going to put lots of money into it and make it a sort of a rich area, so to speak. And as well as it being on this side, it's also going to be on the other side as well. Now we're going to try and follow the whole 4 quadrants thing again, so it'll be about, you know, offices and residential next to one another, a bit of commercial around the outside, and of course we've got to throw in some parks and services in there. It's all going to take a fair bit of planning. Anyway, let's see how the river is doing one more time. It looks like all of that is over now, or maybe it's just going through this area. Where is the wave? Can we even see it further down? No, it seems to have dissipated entirely now, which is good, so we can continue. There are all sorts of problems with death in our city at the moment. It's another death wave. Let's go have a look at our statistics, because yeah, basically you just get these constant fluctuations up and down from where you expand, because people have a fixed life in this game. They live until, like, you know, 90 years and then die off. So if you expand an area all at once, they're all going to die at the same time, which is kind of crazy. So the new area is set up here, and there's a fair bit more that I want to do to this area than just this alone. I want to kind of terraform the landscape here a little bit and chuck in some of those border things, whatever they're called, like we did up here. That looks so good, that bit. And this part of the city is still doing well. I like it, but now we're going to expand into this area, and this is kind of what we've gone for. So I've laid out some trees here because we're going to fill those up. There's like some gaps basically everywhere that won't get built on. So in the middles of each of these blocks we're going to have trees, and I've sort of changed my mind as well, actually. I want to make this mostly residential and make this area over here to do with offices, but at the same time I did say I wanted to do that thing, so we'll put some offices in this area as well. Here's what we're going to do though. We're going to put in some parks, because speaking of filling up those gaps, we're going to have a park in each corner, so it fills up a bit of that gap. And then we've also got some plazas in here. Now I've put them all in. I was supposed to leave some to show you, but basically there's another gap on the corner of the road, and that kind of fills it in. So I think the electricity grid is just connected a little bit at the top there. What we're going to do in the middle of each of these is have high density like that. And then on the outsides we're going to have our offices. We're still going to do that to some extent. Let's just put offices like this. In fact, I like the idea of the offices being that way around. Yeah, that looks cool. I like that. And then we could have more residential on the outside, and then commercial all the way around here. So we're going to put in low density because the high density stuff's quite noisy. There's not going to be a lot of it at the top by the looks of it. I could probably correct that with some paths. Nothing down this side because we're going to change that. And then all of this right here really can be yeah, commercial, except we'll put it on the one side of the road. There we go. So it looks like development is happening straight away. That's good to see. We kind of want to encourage some development at the top first so that the electricity can come across. So let's just make everything else here residential like so. And in those areas we'll probably put a few services when we see what we need. So that's the layout that we've gone for there. Quite like that. I think it'll look cool as it develops. It's not quite as big as I thought it would be. When I set out to do this, so I imagine like twice the size would probably be what I had originally gone for, I guess. So let's speed it up. I guess there's not too much to see really at this point, and like I said, I plan on zoning all of these roads over here with some offices, but we'll do that in a little bit. So it's going. I was wondering about how much this would get used in the middle here, because you can kind of get to everything else without having to go through here. If we were to just have one connection right here, then it would probably encourage the use of that to get around to each of the areas, right? Also, if we go like this, you can see it's on a bit of a slope. It's higher over this side and lower down here. I think we'll change this road, and yeah, we'll definitely do that. Let's put that in right there, and then destroy these two on either side. Yeah, I like that. Okay, we're going to have a lot of traffic going through that one road in the middle, I've just realised, as it's its only connection. So maybe this will help, having like a one-way exit for traffic coming out of the city. That might also slow it down coming in as well. You know, this is going to be a lot of trial and error and adjustment. I'm not expecting this to work from day one. And here's what I was expecting to see here as well. A lot of backups, because you've got lights right in the middle, which I'm not sure are the best way to go about doing this, but we could add some other connections. I want to put a road going over here so we could actually connect it to that area, and it looks lovely. It looks really great. Let's turn off, like, look at that, that's just tremendous right there in the middle. We've got to do some other aesthetic work here as well, like throw in a few trees. Not getting much residential over here yet though, so probably need to expand our industrial on the opposite side. Love the row of the shops down the side there. And let's have a look at traffic. So yeah, it's stop and start a lot on the way into this area. There's not much of a flow going in, so we definitely need to adjust a couple of things. However, it's not too bad as of yet, but of course it's going to get worse, isn't it? Which is what I'm worried about. Okay, if we've got two exit roads, it kind of makes sense to make that an incoming road only. And the traffic is still roughly the same. We are going to expand this area further. I just sort of remembered though, my plan was to make this area highly educational as well and put in some schools, which I haven't really planned for. And I've chucked in a couple of services. For example, we've got police station and fire station. These are the next ones up. These are the first ones that I've built in this area. We're going to do the same with the hospital as well. However, we'll probably put that somewhere over here. So what I think I want to do is redesign this little bit and put in like a university and make sure there's lots of education in this area. We should probably put a couple of elementary schools, and I do want to go a little bit over the top here and make sure that they're well suited for. So let's put one over there, and then in the sort of opposite area just up here. So that's that level taken care of. Then the high school will probably just have the one for this area, since I put some of our services there. We'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So we're going to have... Now I don't want to destroy that road. There we go. There are some little paths here, by the way, for people to walk up and down. It's nice to see people using that actually, because it connects through this middle area, and there's loads of paths to go around here. So in fact, lots of people are walking through this middle area. That's great to see. Yeah, we really need to decorate that at some point and make it look amazing. So yeah, looking pretty good so far. Had this idea to put in a little off-ramp over on this side. Just a little exit road. This isn't being used too much. And by the way, these are one-way roads. They go clockwise, all of them, which I thought would be an interesting little experiment. So if we go over here, and where can we actually squeeze this in? Like a little turn off. It wants to move out too far there. It needs a bit more space, doesn't it? You know, we probably could just make it come off the corner, but I thought, although that's probably going to work, it's going to look a little bit ugly, right? It's going to be a very sharp ramp. There we go. Oh, it's actually got to go up another height again because this is so high. Right, so that's actually going to be... I think unfortunately this building here might have to go. So thinking ahead again, which is something I do often and then probably don't follow through on my plans. I think this area here I might try some of these advanced crematoriums in, because we haven't like done that before. I'll redesign these roads a little bit, and then our services will probably be this little section here, and we'll have like a one-way road to connect into all of these areas, and then we'll connect them up to these roads here with a little junction system as well, because of course we need to put in, you know, the incinerators and stuff like that, so that'll be at the back end of what will be a load of offices. So we're going to put in the smaller health facility instead of the larger one. Now, I'm not sure... Right, it's when we connect to that road that all of a sudden it's a lot more green. Obviously, if we connect it to this one, it's only going to be able to go down here and up, and that's because that's a one-way road. So that's actually the better side to connect it on. It'll be the same for this as well then. There we go, everyone's happy, they're loving it, and we're going to put the university all the way back here. Bam, like that, and I think that's going to look great once we decorate it up a little bit. Maybe put some dorms in the area as well, although we've kind of already done that. And that's had a positive effect on all of this area. It should also drive a lot more traffic in here, which is something we'll keep our eye on. As for traffic that's leaving the area, I managed to squeeze the road in here, and it doesn't get used too often, but there's like a nice little flow of people using it, which is good to see. And if we were to add a connection going the other way as well, it'd probably be really beneficial. You know, you come in this way and then you leave that way over there. And we can also play around with adding extra roads over here later on, but for now let's take a look at this area in the daytime preferably. It's got high-tech housing on, and so far I don't really feel too much of a difference, and I think it's because of the snowy nature of everything. All these high-tech houses, their roofs, look, they got solar panels just about, but everything's covered in snow, and therefore it all sort of ends up looking relatively the same. Anyway, this is the bit I want to focus on next, just down the side here. So let's grab ourselves some of these tools. Let's do this together, which means I've got to go find it. Should have been a little bit more prepared. No, it's in this tab, of course. And we've got the golf course, which I need to remove because we're never going to use that, unfortunately. And yeah, it's this stuff over here. So I'm wondering what happens if we just plop them straight on. We've got a few different types here. Any new ones? Right, you can see the bottom of them as well, which is odd. And is that it? I could have swore I added a few more. No, just more golf courses, which is not what we need. So that looks really bizarre that you can see this here. Now, I'm guessing the height of the road is a lot higher than what it was over here, because I noticed those things. You can just about make out them down the bottom there. That looks gorgeous, by the way. I think the water's lowered a little bit there. Didn't it used to be over the top of this bit? If we go further down, the water covers it up a lot more. Fascinating. So it looks like we might struggle a little bit over here because it's so much higher up. But let's see what happens when we bring in the terrain tools. Now I've got to be super careful with these. They're so difficult to use. Each time I use them it feels like something goes horribly wrong. If we get rid of city vitals and mess around with this terrain height thing, this is the way to do it. I'm gonna really screw something up here. We've got the undo button, so remember that. Okay, so if I press that, yep, we definitely want to undo that. Cheers. That was a good idea to add that in. So you want to find a similar height, I think, to what's already there. So we can undo that. Maybe try 28. 28 is lower as well. Let's go for maybe 38. Oh wait, that didn't... Okay, good, good. Right, 38 seems to be very similar to that height. So if we go over here and push it... Oh, it looks a little bit whack really, doesn't it? Oh, I'm not sure about this. Okay, that looks really great though. Right there. Let's take it out of this view. Now, I think it's just too high up, to be fair. I think all of this is going to look really odd. That being said, it kind of looks odd because it's all spaced out. Maybe if it's not spaced out as much, it will look alright. We've also got this over here, which we've barely paid any attention to. Can I still undo that? And can I undo it again? Oh, excellent! It has more than one. Well, that's fantastic. Okay, well I'm gonna do this off camera then because I can do a lot better of a job here, right? If I spend my time at it. Well, I'm not sure how I feel about this. Now that it's all in there, you really can just see this too much. Kind of looks ugly. Oh dear, I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna leave it in here though because it's done now. And yeah, this bit here was a real headache. You see, I had it looking sort of alright the first time around, except down the bottom here this didn't line up. So I thought, well, I'll squeeze them closer together. Like you can see here, they've been squeezed closer together and they overlap a little bit. But then I went back, like deleted the road and couldn't quite get it to look right, and then ended up redoing this bit about 100 times before it looked reasonable. And oh, it's just the bottom bit. It's a shame that it's exposed. So I guess like the land height and the water height over here is perfect for it, but on this side it doesn't look as good. From a distance it looks alright, and I'm going to keep it because yeah, you live and you learn. It was fun to build this, and we'll continue extending it down here as well, I reckon. Yeah, we'll probably bring it over to this point here, and then I did say I wanted to do the same thing down this side, but it might be too much, or maybe we'll use a different structure down there. We'll probably bring this further back up here as well, but how far, I'm not sure. Either way, sort of looks alright. I also added a road here, and there's not too much traffic that uses it, funny enough. I thought there might be a lot if you connected those two areas, so if that's reasonable for some people, then we'll leave it like that. And I guess now the next step is to start expanding the industry over here, although we do have some issues. Not enough educated workers. Interesting, because there is lots of education in this area. I guess we need some more. So it's been some time. I really do sort of get carried away with this game, just forever placing down trees and tweaking little bits and bobs. And yeah, I sort of extended this tree belt around the side here, and it goes up through this area and up the top, and there's a few little connections and stuff, but the big thing is this bit right here. I realised the problem with what we were doing is that we were curving like the wrong way. When you curve outwards, all of these don't look as nice. I mean, there's a little bit of it here. So I redid the whole thing and pushed this all back, and that looks really cool. Still not so sure about the white thing down here. Apparently we can put a tree on that. That's not going to stay. That looks silly. Yeah, but it does look nice going all the way down here. There's also another little barrier bit added there. And I put in a few pathways around this area, and loads of people were using them. They still are, look at that. Yeah, it's always a good idea to chuck down some paths, because people will start using them if there's a need for it. So there's a few other little paths here and there. And all in all, it's looking pretty good in this area. Put some trees in the middle, like I said I would. And added a couple of extra roads as well. See these ones go down. They are one-way roads into the other side, so I figured the workforce from this area can use it to get to work over here. And so far we've almost finished expanding all of this area. Now we've got commercial demand, so clearly there's not enough commercial in this area for it, or just in general. So we kind of need to put another commercial area somewhere else. I'm thinking this area right here could be good for that. Maybe we do a special road layout, we put it entirely as commercial, and then wherever we expand over here it should link to that a little bit as well. But this is going good. What I want to do next is put some more offices. In fact, we might as well zone them now, although they're going to move in without any power. All of that will be offices. In fact, I'm going to adjust this road at the top here, because the other thing that I wanted to do, let's do that, then let's demolish these roads and remove that zone. The other thing I want to do is have another belt of trees just go through the middle here. So I like that, you know, this has been continued down and sort of pushed through the gaps in this area. So rather than put buildings on the backs of those roads, we're going to leave them like that and just put in a big old belt of trees. And I do like the tools that you got here. This one, as I've said before though, I really do wish it was a bit stronger, because you have to go over it again and sort of plop down your own trees after. But I like to go over it with a couple of types like that. These ones will probably look good in there as well. And yeah, just go over it a few times and give it a nice look. So now that that's been done, oh yeah, definitely got to creep through there a little bit. So if we do a commercial area here, we could possibly surround it with some trees as well. Now that all that's been done, you sort of got to go in again and fill it in a little bit more, because you can't squeeze as many trees together as when you place them down manually. But that looks pretty good so far. I do like that. It's going to look even better when there's another row of buildings on the opposite side. So we're almost done here. I've spent way too much playing this game today. I think a lot of the time is spent pondering and looking and just sort of enjoying the ambience of the city, if that makes sense. Also, I don't know what we're going to do with this coming down this way. I might add a diagonal road to sort of bring it over, or I might just leave it at that, which I don't think I will. I don't know. We'll mess around with that as well. But yeah, let's get some offices developed on this side and sort of wrap up that little bit of the area. So I gotta say, I just love the development of this area right here. It's definitely worked out the best. This one's got some potential for the future. I think one of the hardest things is transitioning from where you just got this like built up city out into nothingness, like over here. And I think on a map where there wasn't snow everywhere, it'd be quite easy to add country lanes and farms everywhere, which is something I think I'd like to try in the future after this world. Which is probably a long way off because we've got so much to do here. But there you go, this area's sort of been developed now with the trees going down the middle there. I love that. I think it would have been nicer if this one had been a little bit more developed for having this sort of tree belt go through it. and same over here as well. It's all sort of just a bit too squeezed up for it to show itself, so to speak, but it does look great, and there's loads of other little things we're going to tweak and sort out in here, but so far looking good. I guess probably next time we will work on this area, adding some services, because we're going to need them. I just realised though I was going to add more trees, and I've just sort of forgotten to do that. So in order to remind myself, now where's the tool? There it is. Let's push it up. We're going to have trees go through this area as well, like that, just between where the motorway is. This is probably going to become a fair bit wider. This will probably push down and around a little bit more, and then we can use the middle area for more trees, and in the middle of that we'll have our incinerators and recycling centres and other facilities as well. But there you go, it's looking real good. I do like it, and that's going to be it for me this one. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.